Artists through the centuries have always used music and color to connect to their soul. And you can do the same whenever you're communicating with spirit. Today, I am going to show you how to get started. And I think that you're going to be amazed at how your connection and your communication with spirit actually strengthens. Let's get started. All right, to get started, what I want to do is I want to give you a small history lesson about an artist who used abstract painting to be able to use music and color together. And he used it in his spirituality, and he really did fabulous artwork. So let's go ahead and get started. So, whenever I talk about this artist, his name is Wassily Kandinsky, and he is actually from Russia, and he had the condition synesthesia, and where you start using one sense and then another sense begins to develop as well, so you're actually using two senses at the same time. Well, with him, when he heard sounds, he actually pictured a color. He could see color. Okay, now when he just saw color, he could hear music. And I absolutely find this fascinating. And I know that you do too. So, whenever he saw the color green, he said that is the most restful sound that you can have. And it's like middle notes of a violin. All right. So, and then with red, he could hear trumpets playing. And cool red, though, was more sad and middle tones of a cello. Orange notes, or orange, the color orange, the notes that he could hear were from a violin. So you can tell that with each color, he heard different frequency in music. But that's how exactly how he would create his art. So I absolutely love this saying that he created. He said, color is a keyboard, the eyes are the hammers, the soul is a piano with many strings. The artist is a hand that plays, touching one key or another purposefully to cause a vibration in the soul. And I think that is so true. So, this is one of his art pieces that he came up with. And you can tell he used a lot of geometric patterns, and different colors mean different things for him. And it's almost like this is a song, okay? A lot of the notes, a lot of the colors to create one music piece or one song. And so I found this, and if you want to look at more of his paintings, just look at there's different compositions. And this is composition 8 that he actually created. And then the last thing that I'm going to talk to you about him, and I found this also just, you can tell he was very spiritual when he did his art. So he said, and so the arts are enroaching one upon the other, and from this will rise the art that is truly monumental. Every man who steeps himself in spiritual possibilities of his art is valuable helper in building of the spiritual pyramid, which will eventually reach heaven. And that's where I really think that when we do spiritual art, we are actually tapping into the spiritual world. And you can do it too, because if you are practicing as a light worker and or a spiritual medium or a psychic medium or anything else, you are tapping into the spiritual world. You're actually using your imagination, because once logic comes in, that's where your ego comes in, and you kind of have that little fight about the imagination versus the logical reasoning behind it. So you do actually use your imagination. Now, what I feel, and this is very important for children to do, because will actually get them started if they are intuitive, and this you can see the different colors that they're using. And as an adult, it's really important for you to as well. Just like how Kandinsky talked about his art having, whenever he, saw the color, he heard music. What's really important is a lot of times when you hear music, okay, this is what our exercise is going to be like. So when you hear music, you need to see how you're feeling, okay? Because that music is frequency, and it's creating energy, okay? So different music, different frequency will develop different kinds of energy. And whenever you're listening to music, you're going to have a feeling. Well, it's the same thing as when you're reading for somebody else and you're doing a psychic reading. You are feeling their energy. And so a lot of times you need to put a feeling with that. Well, how am I feeling? Okay. How is this person feeling? Because again, a lot of times somebody will look really happy, but their energy is really sad. And so you're going, okay, this person really is not happy. They just know how to appear happy, how to fool people that they are a very happy person. So, and sometimes spirit, even when you're connecting and you're doing mediumship and you're connecting in, spirit will give you different symbols and different meanings for different symbols. So you definitely need to be keeping a symbol dictionary. Okay. So what each symbol means to you. And so color is the same thing. So whenever you go through the different colors and there are different meanings for you, then spirit's going to know how to communicate with you. And so the communication between you and your spirit team will actually strengthen. So I'm going to go ahead and show you an exercise while you listen to music, what color that you may choose for the feeling. So sometimes, and I'm just going to go just through the very primary color. So if you like decide to paint with blue, that may mean calming for you. And everybody is going to mean different things. Okay. It may be meaning that you're relaxed or stable. Now, when we're talking about the colors, we are not talking about the chakra colors. That's on a different video. Okay. So that's a total meaning by itself. So this is what colors mean to you. Okay. So red also may, whenever I see the color red, I think of anger. Some people may think, oh no, it means that I'm strong, which is awesome. So it just, you got to really pick up on the feeling and the symbol for you. For yellow, it may mean that very optimistic, that you're happy. And so again, different colors have different frequencies, and also it will trigger an emotion as well. All right, so let's go ahead and get started with our exercise. And I'm going to show you what I have. So I do have, and I'm going to go ahead and turn on my other camera so that you can see it. Okay. All right, so we're going to go ahead and get started with this lesson. I am going to show you what materials you need first, and then we're going to listen to 4 different songs and show you how you can do different emotions with each song and what you can paint. Now, we're only going to paint abstract. We're not going to paint anything specific. So don't make yourself, stressed about what you should paint. All right. So, of course, what you need first is all your paint colors. And I went ahead and put them out on a plate so that whenever I go to a specific color, it's right there. Okay. And I'm only using the primary colors. When you go to the paint store, you can actually buy, let me pull this over, all of these little paint tubes. And there are tons of different colors, as you can see. So you can paint to your heart consent. Okay. So then what I did is I went around my house and found little tools that I can use to do the painting. So I went outside, and here is a stick. I found a fork I can use. This is always fun, is the sponge painting. It's just a sponge. And here is a leaf, okay, that you can use. And I found, and this is really fun for kids, is you can actually move it back and forth because of the wheels. You can actually use a car in this exercise, and it makes different tracks. Then I found the train track, and I thought, you know what, this would be fun to paint over to make a different design if I wanted to, different patterns. Then I've got several different paint brushes. And everybody will definitely have this in their household. Okay. It's a little paint thing. I'm sorry, a little toilet paper roll. And then of course, other tools. Okay. And anything else that you can find around your house that will help you do this abstract painting whenever you're listening to the music. All right. So let's go ahead and get started. This first one is actually called Magic Street. What I'm going to do is kind of listen to the music for a few minutes and then set my intention to connect. All right, so let me pause that really quick. So what I really felt, because during the music and everything, it was making me feel very, very happy. And so what really I wanted to paint with first was nature. And so I used my stick and it kind of made circles with it because I felt like just doing circles over and over again. And this just kind of reminds me of being in nature. And the yellow is very cheerful, very happy, very energetic, and very excited. I wanted to add the orange just to add some more color to it. To me, it was kind of plain without it, and you can see the different shades of color of yellow and everything. Then I decided to use the different paintbrushes so I could go with the rhythm of the music, and it kind of changes the frequency of my feelings into the paint. And then I love using this because you can really use different shapes. It's almost like using a rake in the grass, I guess you could say. So that was the very first one. So I don't know if you felt the same as I did with the different motions and the different color. And again, it's going to be different for everybody. All right, so let's go ahead and do the second song. And remember, before you listen to the music and you connect into the spiritual world, set your intention and say, what should I be learning from this? What color should this represent for me? All right, so let's get started on the second one. Go ahead and do the second song. Here we go. right, so did you pick out the same color as I did? So this song, the name of it was Easy Day. So if it's a child listening to the song, they might go, "Oh my gosh, mom, this is bored. This is boring." Or it may also make you feel very sorry, sad. But for me, it made me feel very calm, especially after a long day. So also whenever after you choose your color, also look at the different patterns they use, all the different lines they use, and all the things that you pick up to make these symbols. So at the very beginning, I really thought of a waterfall and the different flowing of the waterfall. And then I really felt like I wanted to use something to do different patterns. And I found I love this kind of like a rainbow is very calming and the different dots. And then, of course, as I still love nature, that I picked up the leaf and painted the leaf, and I was getting the energy from the leaf. Even though this doesn't look like a leaf, it's still in the outline of it, right? And then I still kind of did flowing, like almost like the water flowing into the leaf. So that's how I felt with the color blue is more of a very calming and emotion for me. So if I see maybe the color blue, I may feel like the person is very calm. All right, so let's go on to the next one. Woo! Okay. Whoa, that was a lot of a lot of beat, a lot of frequency, and I actually got really anxious listening to it. And it looked like I even painted quicker because of the tension and anxiety. So the name of the song is Tear It Down. And, you may be irritated, which I got a little irritated. You may be angry, frustrated, annoyed, or ashamed whenever you're listening to this music and the colors that I chose. So I chose black. Okay, black is something for me with lower energy. It's very dark. You don't know much about, black. And black actually, if you look at the color wheel, it has all of the colors together. So it does have a lot of color to it. But to me, it's like chaos. Okay. And then I added red in there, which I guess you could say that's angry for me, but it's also fear a lot of times. And so what first it was kind of like a tornado going around and around and around with black and red swirling, and then the red came out. Okay. And then I found very interesting. It's you never know how it's going to turn out. And then this is a black cloud. It doesn't have any red in it. Okay. So it's like a lot of the anger or, fear of the unknown or whatever was leaving, and then the black cloud just came, and there's still chaos. But you can also see that the lines are not like a tornado, that it's much more calmer on this side. And so I don't know. I found that very interesting. So maybe that chaos can be calmed. But again, I had to stop listening to the music because it did. It started irritating me. Now, some people may listen to the music if you're like a teenager and you're going, "Oh, I love that type of music." So each each person is so different. So again, you need to have your own symbol and color dictionary for you. All right, let's go ahead and get started for the next one. Will be our very last one. All right. So let me go ahead and tell you what I was thinking when I was doing this one. It was a very, you know, a song that you can reflect on. And the name of it is actually called Reflections. Okay, so that makes total sense. So you may be inspired by this song because the more you reflect, the more ideas about your life comes to fold. You may get more creative, hopeful, connected, safe, and again, you're reflecting. And so what really whenever I was listening to the music, I was very, very calm and everything. But I really felt this is one reason why I picked this up, so I could do the circles because I felt like a connection, not only with spirit, but also everybody in the world that we are all connected. That's what I was kind of reflecting on. And so I pretty much used all the colors because to me, I felt like, blue was very calming. And then it got to green and then it got to orange. So all of us are connected. Okay. And then the blue, again, I made more of a, like a water stream flow, just saying that we're all connected and we're all on the pathway. So those are the messages that are coming through for me whenever I was actually doing it. And you can tell with each song, I got stronger and stronger in the connection and the message with spirit. So I may be actually connecting in while I'm doing my spirit art. But the main thing that I want you to really get across is really after you listen to the music, really go back to why you use the colors that you did. And again, maybe you'll find a pattern in whatever you were choosing. All right. So I hope that you enjoyed learning about how you can use music and color to actually communicate with spirit. Because it's fun analyzing and figuring out what you did while you did art. And I think it's really fascinating if we go back to the artist or, real famous artists that really created not only abstract, but just look at their inspirations behind it. You know, they were connected to the spirit world whenever they created something so extraordinary. I am going to leave you with this because I feel like we need to look at this one more time because we can actually reach heaven through our artwork if we all think of spiritual art as being exactly what it says, being very spiritual. And so the arts are encroaching one upon the other. From this will rise the art that is truly monumental. Every man who steeps himself in the spiritual possibilities of his heart is valuable helper in the building of the spiritual pyramid, which will eventually reach heaven. So happy making spiritual art, be creative, and always love and light.